Hey everyone, it's Tom Numbers. When I talk about numbers, A is the first letter of the alphabet, so it equals 1, B equals 2, and C equals 3. So, today what's been happening? Well, a couple of things. One is that President Trump has posted or retruthed a picture of him that says the storm is coming. That comes to 207 in numbers. If you drop the 0, it's 27, code JFK. So the storm is coming. And another Trump posted something else. Lara Trump. Interesting enough, if you do Leah Trump, or Lee, L-E-A, Leah, Lee, that comes to 138, Donald Trump. But Lara Trump, she did a Q&A, or she did on her show, but she answered some questions. And the last one, which was the headline, was is Barron Trump a time traveler? So as most of you would have probably seen that and would have been excited to see her response, I was like, go on, go for it. Anyway, so she has to kind of do the standard textbook thing and just kind of deny it, but she's kind of laughing and smirking when she says it. But she says, oh, that's crazy, Barron Trump is not a time traveler. I've known him for a long time, but she says, this is how she ends it. So some people don't see it, but it's like when President Trump was asked in 2020 about QAnon. There's Q and then there's anons that decode, but he had to deny publicly, but he actually nodded his head. So back in 2020 during coronavirus, he was asked about it, and the reporter said about QAnon, and you're saving the earth from this cabal, and he goes and he just does a slight nod, and then a few seconds later he shakes his head and says, no, well, I've heard about it, but I don't, I'm not affiliated with them. But then he's done dozens and dozens of tweets with Q posts, comms, and retruthing all the time pictures of Q and Q plus with him in it, and he's done that again today. So when Lara had to do that, she had to kind of do the normie playbook. But the thing is, what it does is it puts that into the consciousness, that puts it into people's minds. And she said, well, if you believe Barron Trump is a time traveler, then you're probably one of those people that believe that we didn't go to the moon. And then she said, oh, Artemis, we just went back. And then she says, and you're probably one of those people that believes that 9/11 was an inside job. So she's linked all those three things together, saying Barron Trump is not a time traveler. We did not go to the moon. So she's saying that the moon landings aren't fake, and she's saying that 9/11 wasn't an inside job. And so I think for the normies, a lot of people know about the moon landings anyway. A lot of people know about 9/11, and a lot of people know about Barron being a time traveller, and he's not the only one. But she had to do that. But it's interesting that she's already actually putting that out. So that she's actually putting that out. You see, the New York Post has done stuff about the Trumps being time travelers, so it's out there, which is great because it is real, folks, and it's to do with frequency. Time travel is linked with frequency. Frequency is 114. Trump card 114. Tesla talks about frequency, energy, and vibration, 3, 6, and 9. Talks about all those things. But if everything exists all at once, then where are the other realities? They're a frequency away from you entering them. Hence I use my frequency devices, my scaler, my frequency device, and it's wonderful. There's one of the settings there, theta waves. Can you see that? Theta waves. But they're great devices, and other frequency devices out there. But it was interesting, Lara's response. But I'm sure we'll see more on that as time goes on. One of the things she said as well, she said, so who, how many time travelers do you know? something to that effect. She said, name me one time traveller. So firstly, if people were time travellers, are they going to tell everybody? Probably not, because it's been a hidden gift. But anyway, it's interesting that she kind of brings it down to normie level, like, well, tell me the time traveller you know. But she says, name one time traveller. So if you do name one time traveller, so name is 33, one is 34, and then time traveller is 148. But if you add all those together, name one time traveller, if I've done it correctly from her phrase, that comes to 233, and 233 comes to John Fitzgerald Kennedy. 233, follow the white rabbit. So she named one time traveller, if you know how to do the numbers, and there's obviously Barron, and Ivanka has to be a time traveller, the way she popped up in my timeline at the precise moment we were supposed to meet. Donald obviously is, Melania. If you do Donald J. Trump Jr., JR, it's 176 Back to the Future, so Don Jr. I'm sure Eric must be, probably, maybe Lara with him, maybe not, I don't know. But I would say for sure probably the core Trump group, and maybe partners, maybe public partners, wives, husbands, maybe central casting, we'll see. But at the core group for sure, and others of us. So I'm discovering all kinds of things in my timeline, and how did they get there? So it's an interesting and real concept. It's fascinating. I bumped into Sandra Redknapp today, so I know the other Redknapps. I know Harry, Mark, Jamie. Probably know Mark the best out of the three, but I've met all the others and they know who I am. But it's interesting because Redknapp's 85, Silver 85, Sandbank's 85, and out there in front of Sandbanks is Old Harry Rocks. There you go. You see it? There you go. So yeah, that was nice to bump into. But even then, there were some codes that she was sharing, whether she was doing that deliberately or not, or just universe tying them in. Yeah, so it was interesting. It's a nice night. It was hazy again. It was bright and hazy this morning, and then it got bright blue skies, and now it's been quite strong winds though. It's been quite strong waves for the last 3 days really. Haven't been in the sea. Could be out there in that, but I haven't. Did it earlier in the week. But yeah, it's the energies are upgrading. Do you feel a bubble of protection around you right now? I definitely feel that with frequency. I feel protection. Protection is 135, and 135 is John Trump, Ivana Trump. John G. Trump is 142. I am Nikola Tesla. I am Redemption, 142. The Sun, Scalar 54, Love 54. Frequencies, plural, is 122, which is America First 122. Needles, 64. So I had an interesting one last night. I was sharing of sharing some codes I've been doing in the day and the day before with a friend. I shared them later today with my brother. But the concept of the needle, so in regards to the needles, they're 64, 10 at 64, but also some other things in regards to frequency, and the synchronicities were off the charts, and physical manifestations as well. And I thought a couple of days ago when something happened, I was like, oh, something about the needle, and lo and behold, today's newspaper has needles on the back of the Daily Star newspaper, and needle is also on the back of the Sun. It might be the Mirror or it's another paper, but the thing of needles come up, and it's not really anything to do with the sport, the football headline they're talking about, but they've shoehorned it in. And then I was watching an episode of Lewis, you know Lewis, with Lawrence Fox in it. It was the first episode, so it's the one that actually talks about that A word, the bad word. I've heard that that's in it, but I've never actually seen that show, but they showed it last night. And there's a part in there, before that comes up, where they're talking about, they just randomly say about Bournemouth, and then they say there was a magician with that could use a needle and thread. So the thing of magic and needles and threads, and then it got me thinking, and that was confirming the papers and the codes I'd had before. And then it got me thinking about Threadneedle Street, which is a street in the City of London. Threadneedle Street is 188 coronavirus. Close Encounters, President Kennedy, Show Me the Money, and then City of London is 185, Donald John Trump, Book of Revelation, President Trump, the whole thing with Iran, he's been using that to destroy the City of London, take that out. But if you do Threadneedle Street, 188 plus the City of London, 185, it comes to 373, which comes to 1.21 gigawatts. Gigawatts, the way they spell it in Back to the Future, is Gigowatts. I've seen it other ways, like the gigawatts, but it's gigawatts, which is 124, which is New Jersey. And where does the John DeLorean estate reside? It's in New Jersey, and President Trump owns that. And Trump National Bedminster is 283. The redistribution reset. And 282 is 88 miles per hour. Anyway, folks, we live in a magical world, and frequency is definitely one of the keys to unlocking it. Key is 41, lock is 41, USA is 41, King is 41, TSB, my initial is 41, and Alien is 41. God bless you. Take care, bye.